Peace and grand rising to the heirs. To December the 23rd, 1440 on the sun calendar, 1441 on the moon calendar, and 2020 on the Greco-Roman calendar. And first, if we could start off by stating one thing that we have seen change this year where our Moorish nationality is concerned. One change that we have seen this year. If you want to star 6 to participate, one thing that you've noticed this year that's different from all the other years, and when I say all the other years, I mean in our lifetime, there's some things that have changed this year. And this is a 2020 year where we're able to see the changes. We said at the beginning of this year of 2020, even in March, because March is our new year. March 21st is our new year. And we said even then that we would see the changes, that the changes would be more evident. I see people wearing masks, and that started right around our new year, right around March, February, March time frame is when they started talking about everybody wearing a mask except the heirs, because that doesn't apply to us. But that's a major, major change, a major change. Something that we've not seen in our lifetime, really. Everybody, 99%, the 99% are wearing masks. The 1% are not wearing masks. That's something to think about. Those are some percentages that have switched some things, because we're used to them saying that we all were the 99% and that some foreign energy, some foreign occupation was the 1%. That turns out not to be the case. The 1% are not wearing masks and everybody else is. That's the real 1%. So that's a change that I've noticed. I don't know. Has anybody else noticed any changes this year? What's different now in your life that was not different previously? Islam. Islam.
I've noticed, this is Greg Tariq Bay. I noticed, like, I'm dealing with a realtor, and she sold my house, and I'm moving into another house. And I noticed she said something to me about there's a new law out, and I was like, what is that? She said, the law of the jungle. And I said, well, what is that about? And I said, could you send me the law, you know? And she never sent it. And then she said to me, did I want the deed registered, and because I had to pay for it to be registered. I said, no, you could just give it to me. And she said, well, it's very important so that nobody can come along 50 years and take that property away from me. I said, no, I'm a Moor. I don't have to worry about that. She said, what is that? I said, I have the right to the land, and I have a allodial title. She said, what is an allodial title? I said, you'll find out if somebody tries to take it from me. And then I'm noticing, like, downtown, I live in Raleigh, moving to Goldsboro, all the businesses, a lot of them are boarded up. The courthouse is boarded up, but you're still going in and out. There's not many people in the courtroom, in the courthouses. I'm noticing a lot of stuff like that. Third eye stuff. Islam?
Wow. 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 So
I'm trying to mute right now. You're breaking up on me.
Islam.
I'm trying to mute right now.
Okay. So that is just major. That's major. The law of the jungle, whenever they say law of the jungle, they're speaking code. There is a law, a set of laws that's attached to the Magna Carta. It is the law of the jungle. And it's actually the law for the animals on the land, believe it or not. That's powerful, because that means she knew who you were. To even bring that up, she knew who you were.
Yep, and I went into another place, and I was like really irritated by the music, to where I spoke about it. You know, I was like, these singers, I said, this music is irritating me, and I said, I must be getting old. And I said to the person behind the counter, I said, I must be getting old. I've never noticed music to irritate me enough to speak on it. And then the person said to me, he said, well, you know, what do you want to hear, jungle music? And I was like, nah, not that. And I just walked away. But I hadn't realized what he said to me. And then the realist said, the law of the jungle. And I said, why do they keep talking about the jungle, the jungle, the jungle? Something up with that. Something up with that. Now I see.
We gave the Albion foreign hybrids, they have a law that's separate from ours. They have a law that's separate from ours. That's what they're referring to. And that's a study that most haven't known, because we didn't even know that that law existed, that it was attached to the Magna Carta. I found out about that by listening to some of them, that there is a law separate. It's a law for the animals. Just like their education system is an animal system, they have a set of laws on this land that predate the Constitution, that Constitution that they were using. It predates that. When we first created them, that's when we wrote that law. And the law of the jungle says this. I'll just put it in a nutshell. That's why she said what she said about somebody coming along and taking it. In a nutshell, they know already, and all the realtors already know about it, that they're selling things, supposedly selling things, but when the heirs come with sovereign preeminent title, that I don't care if you bought it yesterday, you got to get out. But see, there's a way for us to do this, and this is important. It's very important. There's a way that we're to do it that's been laid out by the ancestors. All we got to do is look at what was done, what they were doing, but then put it in gold and silver. This is what I've been telling. Listen, our ancestors are not, they know exactly what they're doing. And they're saying in no uncertain terms that we have to do it the right way. And when we do it the right way, we are preeminent. That means that no one, they all know they have to pack up and get out when we come the right way. And that's going to be without warring or any of that. This is a peace move. That when the heirs come correct, the realtors know about it already. The policy enforcers know about it already. And that's why there's a process whereby we're going to put a proper gold and silver commercial exchange on the public record so that they know and everyone knows that, okay, the sovereign supreme law for the land is in full effect at that property. I love it because the fact that you're on this call saying what you're saying is further affirmation of what we already know. And the direction that we're moving in.
And
Islam.
let me say this too, because the realtor, when we went for the closing, I got enough money where I bought the other house cash. So when we went to the closing, the realtor didn't even know that the lawyer wasn't having nobody in there. When I knocked on the door, they said they just had a case of COVID. I couldn't come in. I had to sign everything on DocuSign. And I was like, how come the realtor would, make me come here and you not tell her and you not know that? And they said, well, we won't discuss that. There's COVID in the building. You can't come in. And we'll just give you the residual in a check, and you can pick it up from the mailbox. But you have to do everything from the DocuSign. I was like, okay. I thought that was crazy.
That is crazy because that's not full disclosure, so that's actually kind of an invalid transaction. That's because there's not full disclosure. And that's why we don't do business with them. But see, they see what the heirs are doing, allodially and sovereignly. So even though there's fiat being thrown around and passed around and carrying on, they know that it doesn't hold weight to us and to what we're doing. They know that. And they sold that to you the same way they've been selling it to each other. It's not a valid sale. Fortunately for you, you know the other way, the sovereign allodial way to do it. But they know that's not a valid sale. That's why they're not even requiring a red signature in red in all lowercase letters. They're not even requiring a black signature. They want you to do it online. I know what DocuSign is. That's where you go online and they don't get a flesh and blood signature because they know it's not valid. It's not valid.
Islam. They'll get one if they come after me, though. They'll get one in small letters, lowercase, in red.
There you go. And if I were you, just a suggestion, can't tell sovereigns what to do. Well, first, I would say I would never go into contract with them. Never go into contract with them. But since you've done it, if I were you, an affidavit in red in all lowercase letters with that wet ink signature on it of the living, back to them, all you have to do is proclaim your sovereign status and send it to all the realtors and everybody that was involved in that transaction to let them know that you know who you are, and that if anyone liens them, because see, when they get a lien, they already know what time it is. They know we're about to do that with all the properties that we choose. And when they receive a lien, the first thing they're going to do is dart out and not tell the one who bought it anything, that the heirs are here. But see, they're telling you in their own way that it's not a valid sale. To say that COVID is in there, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
But like I said, I'm a Moor, and I went to explain it to her a little bit. She was like, well, what is that? I don't understand what that is. And I said, well, you'll understand if anything goes wrong. It'll be me.
Yes.
What I mean? Because, I might not be doing any demonstrations, but I'll be listening and watching, and I know how to do them. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah, I got this. I wasn't even worried about it because I know I got it.
You shouldn't be. You just have to make sure that you put allodial in place. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Yeah.
Make sure that you put the allodial documents, a lien, a court action. Because see, you have to do the same things that we're doing. They know that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're putting the valid sale on the public record. And it's not even a sale, it's just an exchange, a commercial accounting exchange.
Yeah, because I really wanted to get rid of the debt pledge. That's why I did it. So now I don't have a mortgage or anything, and I didn't really want, because I'm a truck driver and I really can't not fight back, but really watch what I need to watch, because I can't even get the black, Negro, colored, African-American people in my family to behave in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So I'm like kind of walking a tightrope on my own. You understand what I'm saying? So I have to like relieve myself of them, and you know, they like my family members like tore my house up. The Negro, black, African American people did. I love them anyway, you know, because I'm not a materialistic person. Yeah, that stuff never bothered me. They thought it would, but it didn't, you know. And they always say I buy love and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, I don't want to go into all that. But like I got a house free and clear. I am going to do the non-obligated tax route on it.
I was about to say that, you know, it's still not free and clear if you only do their process. And in fact, if you do their process, you're going to have to undo it. Because that's what we're able to do, is undo that, all of that.
Yeah, I can honestly say I have no fear, so that's good.
Yeah, you shouldn't, because you already know who you are. You've been here a minute.
Yeah,
you know who you are already.
Listening, yes, truly, yeah, truly. So you know, I love a challenge, but I have a habit of being angry all the time and challenging, like what you were saying earlier. That was me in a nutshell. I didn't even realize I was behaving that way until like I got a nephew out of prison. He lives with me, so he's angry already. So if I add to that, he's only going to get more triggered. So he's teaching me not to be angry and speak to him in a way where, in terms of compassion and empathy and apathy. You know what I'm saying? It's really difficult for me. I didn't realize it. But, you know, I always knew he was going to need me when he was a little boy because of the circumstances that he was in. And finally, he's like 40 years old, and he's living with me, and he's doing okay. I had him on a call a couple of times, but he doesn't seem too interested. He still seems a little interested in the worldly Negro, black, African-American things. But, you know, like I said, I'm going to be all right. So I don't want to hold up the call, but I'm going to be all right.
Yeah, Islam.
Islam.
You are going to be all right.
Islam.
You are going to be. You're all right already.
Islam.
Because you know who you are.
Finally, you know, it feels like, you know, when I come on the calls, I remember with my mom when I was little, I'll be sitting next to her and I can hear her heartbeat, and I was so content. That's what I feel when I come on these calls. I feel content. Like I never before. I lived my whole life in fear. You know, and when I want to find comfort, I think of my mom sitting next to her and like having my ear up to her and I can hear her voice through her body in my ear. That's how I feel when I come on the calls. I feel like my mom. You know what I mean? I've never felt so complete up until now.
Islam. You're with your nation. You're with your nation. This is your bloodline and birthright. All of us.
Yeah.
You know, it's a peace thing.
Yeah, it truly is. It is.
We needed this peace right here. We needed this because as a people, we didn't, you know, we were asleep, and there's no peace in that sleep.
Yeah.
Because we're always worried about stuff.
Yeah. And I remember when Sharon got taken, it really was sickened. It almost sickened me because you said, you know, some of us don't come back from things like that. I was almost one of them. You know what I'm saying? It really, really bothered me that she got taken. But when you said some of us don't come back from that, and I said I'm not going to be one that's not going to come back because I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it moving.
Yes. You know, when we proclaim that for all the heirs, that all heirs will come back from all trauma.
Exactly. And when that Albion,
you know what?
When that Albion comes on the call, it reinforces my wanting to come back to the call myself. So when he's doing all that, that's just reinforcement to me to come back.
Well, they know it's over. They can't keep traumatizing the heirs.
Truly, Islam.
Yeah.
Islam. But I'm going to let somebody else have the floor.
Islam, Justice Gregory.
Uh-huh.
Islam. That's powerful because we are one another's peace. That's why we have to continue to unify, and that's why we are the only, I was going to say we're a force to be reckoned with, but it's not. It just blows that out of the water when we're unified and peaceful, because we find our power in the peace. And when we find our power, then energies that are not right get to scurrying and hiding away and getting out of the way. But the reason things like that are done so publicly, like with Empress Sharon, when she was taken publicly right there on, you know, in front of the whole earth, you know, that is done to cast a spell so that, and not by her, but by those doing that, to see who's going to stand. Even after that, who's going to stand? Empress Sharon is standing. She's strong. She's standing. And those who saw that, there were some who were angry because the test was given to Empress Sharon. There are some who was looking for others to blame. There's no one to blame. We're all being tested. We're all being tested. And even since then, other heirs have been in that same situation, tested. Who is fit to govern this vast estate? Who? Who can move beyond the trauma, and who can clear the energy and heal? Who? Who is strong enough to move beyond that? Yes, we acknowledge the trauma. It happened. We acknowledge it so that we can clear it, because you can't clear it if you don't acknowledge it. It happened. And this is all trauma, not just, you know, not just Empress Sharon. You know, that was a traumatic event for all of us to see. Those who've seen it. Others have been through their own trauma before, during, and after that. Some have been traumatized even as yesterday and this morning. Why do you think that is? It's because we are walking into our inheritance now. So now we have to look at the trauma, call it what it is. Okay, it's trauma. And I'm not invalidating or belittling it, because it's massive, it's major. But it's there for a reason. Our ancestors wouldn't do anything to destroy us. They wouldn't. They love us above all else in the universe. They wouldn't do that. We were each chosen for that. Whatever it is that traumatized us, we were chosen for that. To see if we're able to get beyond it. Look at it, acknowledge it. Yes, that happened. We're not going to overlook it. It happened. Now what? Okay, it happened, but it's not going to defeat us. And it's not going to stop us from walking in our inheritance. Who is able to do that?
Islam, one more thing, too.
Keep going, Justice. Keep going. Come on.
They blocked me on YouTube. They blocked my device because anybody that was calling us Black, Negro, Colored, African American, all the personalities. Some of them even said to me, you need to stop coming on in my comment section and talking that Black, Negro, Colored stuff. And I was like, well, Christian Black Code, Negro Act, Buck Act, and I told her I would never stop coming in. I said, because you're part of the problem. And then with the Albions, I would let them know that they were Trilobite Nigers, Neanderthals, and I wouldn't let them move past that. No matter what you say, you know, just eat, monkey talk. You know, I never let them get me on subject matter. I just stayed in jurisdiction, and so they blocked me after a while. It took them a while to do it. They blocked my device. They told me I was hateful, mean, and not part of the ecosystem. And I thought that was a strange word to use, you know what I'm saying? That I wasn't part of the ecosystem. And they said that I was hateful and I was a whole bunch of stuff, which is fine with me. So they blocked my device. So what I do now, I can only get people like you and Kai and people I deliberately look for. I can get y'all like that. But even with like the Hebrew Israelites, I don't get any of their videos anymore because I went into their comment sections saying the same stuff, and then some of them would kick back and say, "Oh, there you go with that more science and all this kind of stuff." Which is, you know, what I'm trying to say is like it's like the powers to be don't mind if they're talking Hebrew Israelite, black Hebrew Israelites, but when you start talking more, something else happens. Now they have truly blocked my device. Because I was asking a friend of mine who's a little savvy with it, he said, no, they got your device blocked. So, you know, you probably won't be able to, because I get old videos. I get videos that don't mean nothing. They get, you know, like I get videos about them being silly, somebody being silly. I don't get any videos, up-to-date videos, you know what I'm saying? And I was told my device is blocked. Islam, let me see.
Islam. So
yeah.
here's the thing about device blocking and algorithms, etc. The reason that you can get the things that we're doing is because we talk about love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and there's no war energy here. So you're being directed to places where there's no war energy. Whereas some of those other places, there's still warring going on. Those who don't know who they are, they're at war. And so in order to, as an act of love, the algorithms let you see things that talk about love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and peace in particular. Justice Gregory, I will say this, there's really no need to go to those different places and, you know, and put those kinds of things out there, because believe it or not, we're the only ones who didn't know who we were. They've always known who they are. They know that they are created a certain way. And it's not,
let me give you confirmation on that, because after that happened, the ancestors said to me, well, now you can do more constructive things. Now you have no excuse not to go to RV Bay. Now you have no excuse to watch the videos over and over and over, because we're going to make it a way where that's all you can do. So that's all that's happening now. You see what I'm saying? So I get to watch over and over, and I get reinforced. So you're absolutely right about that. Islam?
Yes, and you should go to RV Bay Publications. That's a great site to go to study. And so is moorisheamericanconsulate.org. So is Clock of Destiny. And then there's, you know, all of the other sites where you can find information that we need to have to be peaceful and not war. That's important.
It truly is, because I'm too much of a warrior. I get myself in trouble like that, you know. And it's, you know, I know what you're saying.
We don't want you to be in trouble, Justice. We don't need you in trouble. We need you right out here with us.
Exactly.
We don't need you in. And war energy will get people in trouble.
Yeah,
it does every time.
Every time. So Islam.
That's why we keep teaching and sharing, and not really teaching, but just sharing and saying and pointing to peace.
Islam, yes.
We don't need any of our heirs in trouble. None.
Islam. Well, I'm at my new destination, and I'm gonna start unpacking in my house. And I'm gonna leave the meeting, but love you all, truly.
I love you too, Justice Gregory. We love you too, and Justice Gregory, be sure that you get your sovereign documents in place for your domicile, because that's you already know.
Yeah, I got a trust already set up.
Islam. Perfect.
Yeah, I got a trust set up already.
Islam.
Thank you.
Peace and grand rising
Grand
to you,
Rising.
Justice. And congratulations to you.
Amen. Grand Rising.
Islam. Islam.
Yeah, indeed.
We love you much.
Same here.
Yes, Islam. So, you know, the war energy, it's not even worth it. The ego energy for the heirs, like that we were talking about previously. Just set it aside, heirs. Just set it aside so we can move forward, because it blocks things that are trying to come through the pineal gland. And it will cause situations that we don't need to be in. We got this together. We have to stay together, stay unified, move as one, so that we can continue to inherit and possess. I mean, that Justice Gregory said was affirmation. Those people are moving out of the way, and whenever they've been doing these quote unquote sales of domiciles, of stuff that they know is not theirs, that's proof that they're warning one another that the law of the jungle is in full effect. That means the sovereign supreme law of the land for the heirs is in effect, which is different from the law of the jungle. But the law of the jungle is sovereign law that we gave to them. Someone put in the chat a quote from the law of the jungle. Empress Alia L. I'll read it out. Empress Alia, do you want to read that? Or should I? If you want to star 6 and read what you put in the chat about the law of the jungle. Because the last line of that excerpt that you put there is important. The last line of it says that no one may carry away of that meat to his lair or he dies. The meat is the spoils of the estate. That's for them. We gave that to them. And Rudyard Kipling was just paraphrasing what the real law of the jungle that we gave them says. It says that when the heirs show up and we stand competent and peaceful, do not touch what's ours. Don't do it. But what she put in the chat is, she says, if ye kill before midnight, be silent, and wake not the woods with your bay. That means if you're doing commerce over that which does not belong to you, because see, midnight is their way of saying the heirs are awake. That's why they talk about the dark ages, and they talk about, and recently there was a statement made by one of the foreign occupiers that says we're in for a dark winter. That means they know that the heirs are awake. It's dark for them and light for us. And it was just before midnight that all of that stuff was happening. And this is saying, if you do something before midnight, right when you see that midnight coming, be quiet. In other words, take it up into the virtual. Do DocuSign. Don't put that on the public record like that. Don't get a wet ink signature because it's not valid. That's what that means. And they use the word they on purpose. They know what the they is. They know what the they is. And we know that vowels are interchangeable. In ancient English, they're interchangeable. We've discussed that previously. Your babe means your master. Wake not the woods with your bay. That's your master. They knew we were asleep, and now we're awake. So they're saying, be as quiet as you can and try not to wake up the master.
Started.
Try not to do that with what you're doing. It says, lest ye frighten the deer from the crops. The crops is the abundance of the estate. It says, and the brothers go empty away. Now they're talking about them. It says, the kill of the pack is the meat of the pack. Ye must eat where it lies, and no one may carry away of that meat to his lair, or he dies. Now we know we can't die, so who are they talking about? We know. So they're saying that when the heirs come, when the heirs wake up, all bets are off on all of that fraudulent activity over that which is ours. The justice that he used their process, and they're warning him that it's not a valid process. Fortunately, he knows what to do. He has his moorishe documents in place already. That ought to tell you who supersedes what. They know that already. So all we have to do now is move together and put that last piece in place. The pieces that we've put in place thus far proclaim our sovereign nationality on the public record, in red and all lowercase letters, because they know that the creditors know who they are now. Terminate all corporate contracts, all of them. Don't stop there. Lien whatever property it is. Lien it. Lien it and everybody on that tax assessor report, including the tax assessor. Lien all of them, and then take that lien and everybody on that lien and create a command to appear in your sovereign court. I'm telling you the process right now for property possession. Call them into your sovereign court in that corporate status and pronounce your sovereign justice over that. And then that's not the end. See, they know after that solstice and the conjunction. See, the conjunction is, it is analogous to government. They came close together and then they switched. That's what that's all about. That's what that is. And so that's not the end. The end is this, and it's not the end, it's the beginning. There has to be a valid, after the court action, there has to be a valid commercial exchange done by the government, which is all of us. All of us. And it needs to be placed on the public record, and all of the fraudulent ones out there that were previously, because they're not even claiming anything anymore. The realtor told him, beware, the law of the jungle applies now. Beware, in case someone comes along and claims your property, beware, be aware, and in his case, he's good. Because he's a Moor, he knows. He's got his trust in place, allodial sovereign, because that supersedes any of that other stuff. They know that. And now we all know. We got this, Eric, but we have to stay together and keep our energy unified. Keep the energy unified so that we all can walk in with the least amount of trauma. Because, see, trauma can be avoided. It can be avoided. We said this last week before last month, last year. No one has to go to jail. No Moors have to go to jail. We shouldn't be in there. If we take the time, don't get in a hurry. Wait a minute. Chill. Let's stay right here with our nation. Stay focused on nation building. And then line upon line, precept upon precept, repossess the estate. Look at what's been done, because the prophet already told us they're going to teach you how to govern. They'll stay here long enough to do that, and now we see them jumping ship, getting out. So then that means that all we have to do is look at what they did and then clean it up and make it allodial and sovereign and put all that capitalism away. We have to show that a true sovereign commercial exchange has taken place. We're the treasury. All Moors are the treasury. So then there needs to be an exchange on the public record in red and all lowercase letters, a commercial exchange. And sovereign allodial title. And all of that in order. And they're going to step right out of the way. They're preparing one another to step out of the way. Everybody that's pretending to buy a domicile, a house, quote unquote. And when I say everybody, I'm talking about the foreigners. I'm not talking about our heirs, the heirs. I'm talking about the foreigners who are pretending to go through that process. They're warning one another that the Moors are awake. And if they come, be prepared to get out. All we have to do is stay together, keep our energy together, keep peaceful, acknowledge all energies, and drop those energies, leave those energies back in the Piscean age. We're in the age of knowing, the age of Aquarius, the age of water, all things natural. The jungle is a natural place.
Arctic.
The jungle is a natural place. That's what they're saying. They're in the jungle. We're on our land. That's why that talks about death and dying, because we don't die. We multiply. Yes, we do. So, more affirmation, more affirmation, more affirmation. More affirmation that we are doing everything that we should be doing. All we have to do is stay unified and don't let anyone talk us out of our vast estate and our inheritance. Don't let anyone, I don't care if they're wearing a fez or a turban, don't let them talk you out. Don't let them pick up the phone and put ugly energy in your ear about your brothers and sisters. Because that's a distraction to keep you from seeing what really matters. We got this already. It's a wrap. It's done. It's finished. We consented to denationalization, and now we're done with that. We saw what it was like. Now it's time to move on in our sovereign living status. We never died. We've always been alive. The whole time. And they knew that. So are there any other questions, comments, awarenesses, anything that Islam.
Yeah, this is Willis Smith from Mississippi Territory.
Islam.
And I've been listening to for a good while now. And I'm 78 years old. 77 really, 78 in March. And in March of last year, I hadn't even heard of the Moors.
Islam.
But in about July, I heard about it, and I've been on these calls ever since, just listening.
Speak up so we can hear you. Keep your mouth to the microphone so we can hear you.
And I've just been listening, and everything I'm hearing is taking me all the way back to ever since I've been in the world.
Yes.
This is me. I am a Moor, even though I didn't know what a Moor was. But looking back over my life, that's the direction that I've been going.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would like to do now is to make it official.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the application and everything filled out.
Mm-hmm.
But what I want to know is this mailing location on the bottom of this application, is that where I sent it to get it on the public record?
No. Let me say just a couple of things about that. Thank you for that question first. Honor to you for waking up and agreeing to know who you are.
Uh-huh.
I don't know about anybody else, but my heart leaps in its place when I hear someone else say, I know who I am. I'm a Moor. So with regard to your question, let me clarify, because there's some things in the language that we want to be sure that is understood by all. You don't have to apply for your sovereign status. It's in your blood. So
right.
Let's change the word application to you filled out an affidavit.
Okay.
Okay, because your sovereign status was yours since it took. Remember, you said this took you all the way back to since you've been in the world, in the earth.
Right.
Okay, that's way back there. You were a Moor, so you've never had to apply for it. But to put, so when you get ready to put it on the public record, you can do that right from where you are. You can publish it anywhere. You can publish it on social media if you want to publish it on social media. There's no exchange that takes place in terms of fiat or sovereign credit on social media like Facebook or anything. All you have to do is take a photo of it and put it up somewhere where people can see it. If you want to publish it by email, you can take a photo of your document scan it in and upload it into an email or onto Moorishe American Consulate Public Records page on Facebook, and that's considered the public record. Anywhere that anybody can see it without needing any special codes or anything like that is the public record. Mm-hmm. People sometimes say, that's not the public record. Yes, it is, because the public can look at it and see. And they do watch Moorishe American Consulate Public Records page on Facebook. They see the documents being uploaded by the heirs.
Well, what is that email address? Can I find that email address?
What is it? You said, where can you find the email address?
Yes, to upload it.
What you can do is, instead of sending it by email, are you on Facebook at all?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's great. So when you go onto Facebook, go to the search bar at the top of the page. It'll have a little magnifying glass up there, a little thing. It's a round thing with and put in Moorishe American Consulate Public Records. And when you put in Moorish American Consulate Public Records, it's going to direct you to the page.
Well, I already
Mm-hmm.
I already can get that on Facebook, Moorish American Public Records.
Okay.
I got that, but how do I get my document on there? That's what I'm trying to find
The way
out.
that you, yes, that's a great question.
That.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
The way you get your document on there is you scan the document in. So if you don't have a scanner at your domicile, you can go to a place. You have one, good. There are other quote unquote office places like FedEx, Kinko's, and other places like that where you can actually walk in and they have scanners there that you can just scan your documents in, and you scan it in, and it becomes an electronic file. And then when you go to Moorish American Consulate Public Records, you will see at the top of the page a place where it has a little menu up there. And you can either leave a comment or you can upload a document or something. It'll say upload. And you click on upload, and it will allow you to see the files that are on your computer when you click upload. And then you choose the document on your computer that you want to upload. And then you double click on the document you want to upload, and it will upload it right up onto that page. And then you hit post, and it will post it onto the page. And that's how you publish it. This that I just said is going on to YouTube so that you can listen to it again. The instructions that I just gave you, you can listen to it again. And so that you can go through it. Okay. And that's why we put these kinds of things on the public record, so that you can stop it and listen to it again, and et cetera. And when you do that, it's on the public record. That's all you have to do with all of your documents is do that.
Yeah. Well, I got all the equipment here and everything, but the only equipment here is this 70-year-old brain of mine. But give me enough time. I get there. Okay.
Well, will you allow me to cast and break a spell? Will you allow me to do that?
Sure.
Okay. We break the spell that age has anything to do with this grand awakening, and that you get better with time, just like the fine wines do that we made back in the day. And we place the spell that clarity, as if you were 20 years old, comes to you. Islam.
Yeah.
Now watch it happen now, because that's a spell that. And let me do it 2 more times. Let me do it 2 more times. Clarity. We cast the spell of clarity on all of the heirs who feel that there may be a little cloudiness. We cast the spell of clarity. We cast the spell of clarity of thought, clarity of spirit, clarity of mind, clarity of consciousness on you, Islam.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Well,
welcome.
I've just been proud, and every time I tune into one of your conference calls, I sit and listen, but it's like it's just right in tune with everything that my life has been, and I done got toward it. When my first child was born, I was on my 37th birthday, and I had to start new again there. And then when my first grandchild was born, it was born on my oldest daughter's 35th. She was 5 years old when she was born. That's my grandchild, and she's 5 now. And I got another daughter. She was 35 when my other grandbaby was born. So I got a whole. So I really get joy out of your thing like that. I read a lot of stuff, but whenever I go on this, I get clarification. And rather than running off all the time, I just listen.
It's an energy.
It's been a blessing, and I'm going to get this in very soon. Now you cleared it up for me now, and I'll be able to go on YouTube and look at, listen to it again.
Yes.
And I think,
Yes.
I know I'm good. And
Clarity is here.
Yeah, and for these different, new names you done gave things and all this kind of stuff, that's going to take some getting used to, too. Like I was talking about an application, but ordinarily I know it's an affidavit, But I just got to get used to it coming out of my mouth the right way.
Yes.
And
the more you say it, the more it will happen.
Right.
Yes. Islam.
All right.
So
Islam.
just say it every day. Just say it every day. Islam.
All right. I yield.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. We appreciate you. We honor your wisdom. We honor your wisdom because you have experiences that we have not had. So we honor your wisdom. We honor your clarity. We honor your presence. Islam. So, are there any other questions or comments or anything of that nature? Anything else that we can assist with at all?
In the chat.
Yes.
Okay. The question is tax Federal Reserve notes.
You said, is tax Federal Reserve notes?
Yes.
No.
No, it isn't. So it's tax on the dollar or tax on the note itself?
Let's look up the word tax.
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up right now. I happen to have a dictionary right here, and we'll add some clarity to what tax really is, because we know that gold and silver is not taxed. That's why this economy that we are in now, that we're instituting, that we're all bringing in, all Moors are bringing in the gold and silver, not taxed economy. And It's not even an economy. That's not even the right word for it because it's endless. But let's look up the word tax so that we can add a little bit of clarity there. And, of course, when you go to the word tax, it's going to have a page and a half of definitions. Oh, boy. Tax as a noun. Tax is from the Latin taxare, T-A-X-A-R-E. Okay? It, of course, always starts with our ancient language. And it means to appraise. To appraise. To appraise. So tax never was meant to be something where you look at the value of a domicile and you say, okay, that domicile is worth, 200,000 sovereign credits. So we're going to add a tax of 20% to that. It's an appraisal of it. Further, but then when you look in these dictionaries where taxes are concerned, these dictionaries, the majority of them are written by foreigners. So they're going to give their definition of taxes in the first two. I happen to be looking at an unabridged dictionary. So tax is an assessment. And they have here a contribution or a custom. A tribute. A tribute. And we know that in our culture, in our sovereign culture, tribute is given. But we've never, in our culture, everything is done by sovereign consent and will. So a tax is not something that is imposed upon anyone. That's why it does not apply in that sense. where the heirs are concerned. A tribute is something that is given willingly in appreciation of. And it can be in appreciation of a process. It can be in appreciation of the energy that one brings or that a group brings. A tax can actually even be verbal because it's a tribute. So anytime we give honor to one another, I just gave a tax or a tribute to honor Justice Willie, who just spoke. That's a tax. That's what a tax really is. It's something that's given from the heart. It's a tribute. So it's not, but see, whenever you talk about fiat and corporate stuff, you're talking about force. Force.
Right.
Something that is forced on. Against the will of. But nothing can be done against the will of the sovereign. Nothing. So then all of the words that have to do with force take on a new meaning, including tax. So tax is done where fiat is concerned. However, that's in the past. That's no more. Because those who were exerting that force have been leaned out of business.
Okay.
That's why AA 222-141A1 is not taxed, because they knew when we stood up and put it in red in all lowercase letters that no one can tax us.
Got it.
Yes. You're very powerful, Empress. Very powerful. We all are very powerful. Now, those who are dealing in fiat, they're going to be taxed until they stop dealing in fiat. And they call all of their resources sovereign resources. I can actually be doing electronic transfers, and if I have called that electronic transfer what it really is, which is a sovereign resource, then it's not fiat. It's a sovereign resource.
Wow. Okay.
And that way it can't be taken by anyone unless we willingly give it. We're getting there, Empress. And we're there already. We're there already.
I love it.
I do too. I do too, Empress. I really do. I love it. All we have to do is go right here to a dictionary and see, and then clean up what we see. We are doing that for the whole, everything on our land. We're cleaning up the language, cleaning up the words, cleaning our spirit, cleaning up the property, cleaning up the vast estate. That's why we're here. And it starts with that language. It starts with the language. And the word language is really land gauge. When you put the words land gauge together, it's language. It's how we gauge and measure our land, our vast estate. Are there any? Did that help?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Islam. Okay. There's someone in as anonymous. Yes. Go ahead.
Islam. Onyango based in that territory. And besides, let's say tomorrow I do my paperwork and everything. Now I own a taxi. I am a plumbing contractor. I am also a trainer at the prison training those who are getting out of prison. So I do all of my paperwork and I have my taxi. And let's say law enforcers stop me and ask me for my taxi badge and my license. How do I deal with that?
Okay. This is Islam. This is how you deal with that. And I'm going to mute you because there's an echo coming from your line. But when you want to unmute, start it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right. This is how you deal with that. You make sure it's the same process for everything that we do. Make sure that you notify all policy enforcers who might stop you at any time. Notify all of those doing business as chief policy enforcers. You send them in the mail a sovereign affidavit that is the termination of all corporate contracts, including terminating all contracts with all policy enforcers and all corporations, and including termination of all contracts with those things called driver's licenses and things like that. Now, Justice, we always say demonstrate at the level of your overstanding. If you are ready to do this demonstration without the driver's license and all of that, then do it. If you're not ready to do it, then study until you are ready to do it. One thing I know about them is they use driver's license to tax.
Get started.
That question that she had about taxing, they use driver's license to tax. That's why they will write ticket after ticket after ticket, et cetera, because they use those to tax. That's how they get their taxes. And so we want to terminate all corporate contracts with all corporations. And a driver's license has capital letters on it, so we need to terminate that contract too. And then notify all of them that, and you also, your taxi needs to be allodially placed in a sovereign allodial capacity. Okay? And then with your taxi, the VIN number, any contracts on it that were previously on it, such as insurance and things like that, in your termination of corporate contracts, you terminate those contracts, but then you put in you can take the same insurance number and everything and put it in red in all lowercase letters. And now what you're saying is you're insured, but you're insured as the creditor and not as a debtor. And you can even, if you feel comfortable continuing to exchange the sovereign credits for what is insurance coverage, you can do it that way. But it needs to be on the public record that conveyance is the VIN number, the insurance, anything related to that conveyance is in red in all lowercase letters, and it is being operated by the creditor. Okay, and when you're ready to, after you've done the study there, because there is a part of the law that says that if you are doing commerce in a conveyance, then there's another set of laws that apply versus travel. So ensure before you do the demonstration that you study how to do that. How to make sure that you know how to express that you're doing commerce in that conveyance. And all commerce is also allodial sovereign commerce. It belongs to the heirs. The issue that I see, and this is why I say wait and do the study with that particular demonstration, is that, and we're getting there, but we're not quite there yet. All of those who take your taxi, if they're using electronic funds to take the taxi, then you can say that when you do your termination of corporate contracts, that anything that's coming in is a sovereign resource and it's not corporate. That's going to be the key, so that no matter what they give you, it is a sovereign resource and it's not fiat. Even if they give you that green paper, because the green paper comes from our estate too, but we want to move away from using that green paper because it comes with a spell because of the capital letters on it. And that's why we don't want to use that. So that's a study that you'll have to do so that you know how to express that. Expressing it simply means putting everything, including the conveyance, any contracts that were on that conveyance. You need to terminate those contracts on the public record and then put on that same termination, put everything in red in all lowercase letters and say you're the creditor and this is how you're using that resource. So you're not terminating corporate contracts and not putting anything in its place. You have to put a sovereign affidavit in its place. And the termination of corporate contracts, along with saying, I'm the creditor to all of this, and then put everything in red in all lowercase letters and say, this conveyance is a sovereign resource. Anything that's coming in is a sovereign resource. It does not belong to the corporates, it belongs to the heirs. And that's how you would do that. Take all of the paperwork that's related to your taxi. Look at it and see what numbers are used to identify the taxi and the commerce that's being done, to include social security numbers and all of that. Gather all of that, look at it, and then on the termination of corporate contracts, terminate the corporate contracts that are there in black ink and capital letters, and then replace that on that same termination with saying, okay, I terminate the contract with this VIN number in in black ink, and the letters in the VIN number are in capital letters. If everyone who looks at their conveyance can go out there and affirm what I'm saying, that VIN numbers are in capital letters. So when we claim the conveyance, we put the VIN numbers in red and all lowercase letters. That makes it a sovereign conveyance. And any insurance policy, put them in red and all lowercase letters and say, this is how I'm using that resource. Do you see what I'm saying, Justice? I'm hoping he's still on. He's calling.
I do.
Oh, good. Okay, good. So do the study on how to do that. We have examples out on the public record. Okay, we have examples there are examples on Moorish American Consulate public records page of Moors who are doing their documents in all lowercase letters. So look at that, study it, and also if you want to write this down, write down the term in capitis diminutio minima and in capitis diminutio maxima. And I'll spell that out. That's I-N space, and capitis is C-A-P-I-T-I-S. Diminutio is D-I-M-I-N-U-T-I-O. Minima, M-I-N-I-M-A. In Black's Law Dictionary. In capitis diminutio minima will tell you that the use of capital letters, of just one capital letter, is a lowering of status. We have no lowering of status. So we say we are in capitis diminutio nolo. That means no capital letters and no lowering of status. And then we just put it in red and sign it in red and put our right red thumbprint, which is the highest seal. And when you just put your affidavits in that form on Moorish government letterhead, and the letterhead, I'll put the letterhead below this video out on social media and out on YouTube. I'll put the Moorish government letterhead beneath the video in the comment section, in the notes. When you do your documents that way, then you've taken full possession. But you have to rebut every document that's associated with the taxi. And proper competent rebuttal is in red and all lowercase letters. And then you when they stop you and say, can they see this and that and this and that, you can show them your sovereign allodial documents. And if you want to show them both and say, these are the ones you're looking at, that you're looking for, but this is what this really is, then you can show them both, because it is commerce. It's sovereign commerce. You're telling them that sovereign commerce supersedes anything they might be looking for that's corporate. Okay? And our sovereign documents don't expire. Okay? And if you don't want to show them any of that corporate stuff, and that would be my suggestion, a further suggestion, I wouldn't show them anything corporate. I would show them the sovereign stuff. Because just like that realtor knows about the law of the jungle, they know about it too. And when we do things competently, if they attempt to take that which belongs to us, they will lose they will do what the law of the jungle says there. I don't like to, it's the truth, but it's uncomfortable saying they'll die, but they will. And in reality, they're already dead if they're acting in corporate status. And we're the living. Facts. Those are the facts. Hopefully that answers your question and gives you some direction to go in, Justice. Does that assist, Justice?
Wow.
Let me make sure we can hear you.
And press one more thing.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes.
What about the number plates?
What about the what? What about the what?
Number plates.
Number plate. Number plate. You can put on the termination of corporate contract, put the number plate on there that you're terminating the contract with the number plate. And the number plates usually have some letters on them. Put those letters in red and all lowercase letters along with the numbers. And then, again, you can even put Moorish plates on there. But you need to do the study on how to demonstrate that. And demonstration is nothing more than being able to know who it is that has the authority to question you and who doesn't. And that means nobody has the authority to question you. But you have to notify them that that's what's going on, that you're doing sovereign commerce. You're going to be tested. Any demonstrations that we do, we're going to be tested. So we have to know before the test comes how to articulate or say nothing. Okay? Sovereign commerce is just a matter of moving everything into red and all lowercase letters and then notifying those corporate, that they are corpses and you're the living. And then if they should stop you, knowing that you don't have to say anything to them at all. You really don't, because you've already placed on the public record and notified them of what you're doing. Okay? But do the study. Do the study so that you know. Because sovereign commerce is not subject to the taxation of corporate. And when they stop you and try to give tickets and all this kind of stuff, we're not subject to that. Because we're the living, they're the dead. Corpses, corporations. And if I were you, I would know that lien process and put it in place on policy enforcers in your area before you do the demonstration. Lien them, call them into court, do a court action, and then put some sovereign documents in place in that manner before you do any demonstration. See, we have those processes now, and we know that we can use them, so they can be done proactively before we demonstrate who we are. Okay? Does that help, Noble?
It does. Thank you very much.
Islam. And thank you for asking before doing the demonstration. Thank you for asking before doing the demonstration, because you always want to demonstrate at the level of your overstanding. See, this is the thing about taxis and commerce and things like that. If you keep it in corporate status, you're not going to be able to use it anyway. Because they're taxing and taxing and taxing and taxing each other. And they're going to make it so that none of that commerce can be done because the heirs are here. So we have to put sovereign documents and rebut the fake documents. That's a must for the heirs. It's a must. We must do that. So are there any other questions or comments or anything that has to do with anything?
Well, if no one else has anything to say, I want to ask a question about in capitis nolo. Is it in capitis nolo or is it in capitis initio nolo? Like no diminishing of our rights, or I do not consent to a severed head. Is that what it means?
Yes.
Okay.
It means that I am not a part of the capitalist system.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
All bills that come in the mail, all warrants, all fake corporate court documents come in black ink, and they have at least one capital letter, and most of them have all capital letters. That is by design. That is what the capitalism system is, the corporate capitalism system, because there's a capitalism system that we have that's not like that. But until we get rid of this corporate capitalism system, let's get rid of that first.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so all bills and all quote-unquote liens, corporate liens, because that's all that is when they send something to their court saying, hey, court, you owe 5,000 notes, Federal Reserve debt notes. All they're saying is, you know, they're leaning their corpse. And so we're saying that's not us. Capital letters, that's not us. Not us.
Not us.
And we don't owe anyone anything. We're the creditors. How can creditors owe anything? Everybody's eating off of us.
Got it.
Islam.
Islam.
So, and Empress, you don't have to wait until everyone else is done. You can ask your questions at any time because we're here to assist. Islam.
Okay.
And
thank you so much.
together.
You're so gentle with us and patient. Thank you.
Islam. Those are love words.
Yes.
Those are love words. We have to be. Islam. Justice Terrence. Islam. You made it. Are you there, Justice Terrence? I see you.
Islam.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Did you have a question, or you just?
Yes, the information that they're saying, the paperwork that the gentleman saying he was trying to find out where to process it at. Where did he get that paperwork from?
Where to process what?
So when he was saying he wanted to process it in the court, how would I say?
Put it on the public record, you mean?
Yes, that paperwork. Where do I get that from?
That's at the bottom of the video that I sent you via text message. There's a nationality video on YouTube that I did about, I think it was last week, where I read through the name change document. I put a link to that document that I read. I put a link to it under the video.
Okay.
So just read the notes under the video, and you'll see a link to that document. If you click on that link, it'll take you straight to the document.
Thank you, Islam.
And I'm glad you made it, Justice. Islam.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments or anything of that nature?
Islam.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm working on, sovereign commerce, the CDL. I had an appointment today, but I rescheduled it until I can be overconfident. Next year, February the 5th. They give us 6 months due to that pandemic. So the government letterhead, I know to tell them, hey, that's not me, that all war name, my name all caps. So at the government letterhead in red, lowercase, I'm going to say, that's not me. And the capital domination nolo, all lowercase. And I'm the creditor. I guess I let them know that. The race thing, I'm not no race. I'm American, Moor, wherever you want, Phoenician, I don't care, moorishe American, but I don't know that the nationality, my status, I don't know where to put that there or not, but I know it can be all lowercase. I know the right grandparents and red.
Yeah.
And try to work with them, let them know though that this is a sovereign commerce, because it was tricking me all that time. And so affidavit on government letterhead, I'm going to let them know that, now this is me. And so that's why I didn't do it today. And matter of fact, I was surprised that you came up with it today due to the brother with the taxi, because I got a brother. They took his plates. They took it. He wasn't ready. They took his nationality card, and so I'm trying to know so I can tell them. I could just about get my daggone self, but the public record, yeah. So I'm trying to help people too. I want to understand. That's
one other thing that I would add to what I said to the justice from Trinidad is that we also need to show that a sovereign exchange has taken place, even with regard to the conveyances. We need to show that the sovereign credits have been transferred where the conveyances are concerned. In other words, we paid for them outright because everything is prepaid. But for the heirs, we have enough in our trust to prepay for everything. So we need to show that a sovereign commercial exchange has taken place. A transfer of our sovereign credit has occurred for that conveyance. And that's something that we can do by affidavit.
Is affidavit, everything lowercase, that's how you expressing that by doing so? That's what I'm learning.
And we're putting together, the ancestors are giving us a process to do that. The process would have been here by now, but the ancestors have a way that they want it done. And so we're just going with what they say, because every time we get ready to implement that process and we bring heirs in, the energy starts swirling around it in order to purify the process. And so we're going to keep moving forward and let that purity happen so that we can put it out there. Because once it gets out there, where the commercial exchange is concerned, they already know. That's why that law of the jungle piece is being put out there too, because they know we have the key now. We have the answers as a nation to how to possess the estate. But energies have to be purified because it's a vast estate, and we cannot go into possession of it with energies that are not pure. So I said all of that to say this, Justice Frank. Any document that you had previously, such as a CDL, if you had a CDL license in 1925, and I'm just saying 1925 because I'm just choosing a year, or let's just say 1991, and it expired in 1991, or if you had a bank account that was in 1991, or whatever it is, no matter what resource it is, whatever corporate document it is, all you have to do is you don't have to talk to the corpses about using it. You do the same thing that they did in 1913, between 1913 and 1933. You put it in red in all lowercase letters and say, now that's a sovereign resource that I'm using. And now I'm using it the way I want to use it. It doesn't matter whether it's open, closed, whatever. It doesn't matter. The reason it doesn't matter is because you're not using fiat anymore. And you are the issuer of your CDL in red in all lowercase letters. So now it's a commercial driver's license in red in all lowercase letters. In other words, it's a commercial right to travel. Commercial right to travel in red in all lowercase letters. And you can give it the same number as the CDL that you had, except you're putting that number in red. And then you notify by mail all of those who issue CDL that you know how to issue a sovereign CDL because you're the government and you're the law. See, they only did that to teach us how to issue them to ourselves. And once we issue them competently, they will honor them and move on out the way. And that's the purpose of notifying them.
It makes sense to me. It sure do.
See what I'm saying?
I'm starting to get it.
Unbeknownst to some don't want to believe this, but those corporates, they're really actually here to teach us. They're not here to slam people down and throw people in jail and all of that, but they'll do it if we don't want to, if we don't listen to the ancestral energies, or if we're not competent. Because some of that, and I'm not saying that's why all Moors go into those places, because that's not why. In some cases, they go because we just won't listen. In other cases, we are judged by the corporates because we've allowed ourselves to be induced to fraud. Either way, we have to consent to it. Consent can be by ignorance of the law, which ignorance of the law is no excuse, or it can be by us just refusing to do stuff. So no one has to go through that. All we have to do is be competent. And look at what they've issued and just take it and put it all in red in lowercase letters and use the right competent language. We don't have names. We have appellations. We don't have addresses. We have mailing locations. You know, that sort of thing. Be competent at using our own language when we issue our government documents to ourselves. That's what this is all about, is no one has to be tested that way. And when you're tested, if you're competent, they will yield. And that's hard for some to believe, because they think, we think, well, I did everything right. But this, that, and this, and that. The energies are part of the testing. Let's just put that out there. Because you can have everything right on the document. It can be in red and all lowercase letters. But if there's ego in the way, or if there is energies in the way that, that are not sovereign energies in terms of lawful sovereign energies, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, then those energies can hinder the demonstration.
Oh, Sister Light, let me say this then. You're right. I've been demonstrating, didn't even know I was demonstrating. That's amazing, because I believed that I was right, and I believed it. Like all I ever did, now I got this big capitalization system for my appellation, but I just wonder where my fee is. Now they call it, you got to have 2 witnesses for your headgear. They call my fee as a headgear. This is 10 years ago now. So they said, well, you have to file an affidavit. I didn't know what an affidavit was 10 years ago. So they gave me a piece of paper, and I said that I have to have this because I'm a Moorish American. I'm talking, I'm making the contract verbal, I am a Moorish American. Okay. And so I wrote up there, I have to have this, I didn't say, because I'm a Moorish American, I've dealt with the intent. And so they took my picture with my fez on. So I guess that, I found out the affidavit is, if you believe, that's law. So now you help me make more sense of what I'm saying, breaking the spell of being civil a little more too, so I appreciate that too. I'm taking it in. I've been demonstrating, didn't even know I was demonstrating, because I believe, because I know no more, like that.
Yeah. Yes. Islam, Justice Frank.
All right, thank you, and I'll let them get the flow.
Yes, Islam.
All right.
Always demonstrate at the level of your overstanding, and even when we don't quite overstand, we can still demonstrate as long as we're peaceful. When we're peaceful and we're demonstrating the ancestors, the peace energy it automatically brings mercy and generosity and kindness from our ancestors. So as long as we're not warring and we're doing things with clear, clean energy, the ancestors will honor, even if we're not quite, even if there may be a T that's not crossed on the document. I'm a living witness to that. And most are, because when we first started, we didn't know that capital letters was not us. And guess what? It was not time for us to know that. I was about to say something else, but I'm not going to say that, because I was about to point to someone else who didn't tell us that we should not be in a capitalist system, but I'm not going to even point there. I'm going to keep it focused right on us. It wasn't time for us to know it, or the ancestors would have let us know then when we first were demonstrating. And now we know. Now we know. So we're just going to keep moving forward. The ancestors are speaking in no uncertain terms. We just have to listen. Listen to them, because they wouldn't have created this whole estate and then let us see it and not give it to us. They did this specifically for us. They can't wait to give us the estate. We already have it. We just have to express that we have it competently. So, with that being said, we'll go ahead and put a continuance on this for tomorrow at 7 p.m. Our Thursday calls at 7. And we'll go from there. Let me make sure, just really quickly, I want to be sure that I put out on the public record the number. So for this call, the calls that we have, the number is 425-436-6280. The access code is 368903. And that's 7 p.m. on Thursdays Eastern Standard Time, which is 4 p.m. Pacific and 6 p.m. Central.
Oh, yeah,
and then on Sundays, it's 6 p.m. Eastern on Sundays. Okay. Islam Empress?
Islam. I didn't know that I was unmuted. Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and do a continuance on the call. So we'll stop here for today and be back again on
Islam.
Peace and grand rising. Peace and grand rising.
Grand rising.
Islam.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, Empress.
Long live the empire.
Islam.
Peace and love.
Thanks,
Islam.